We all know the Big 12 men's basketball schedule is an absolute gauntlet each and every year. But could 2024 and 2025 be the best league year for the Big 12? We'll discuss that, plus take a look at the Red Raider roster and discuss will they use either, both, any of them in terms of the final remaining scholarships for the 2024-2025 roster, as well as, if they do, who could they potentially target? Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you want to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech men's basketball, even during the offseason, we've got you covered right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Back to 12 podcast channel. So do these three simple steps so you can stay in the know and know more than your friends when it comes to Texas Tech men's basketball. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. All right, let's start with the roster for Texas Tech men's basketball in terms of what do they have. It's been a while since we've talked about them here on the channel. You can see the roster at the bottom of your screen as of June 14th, the time that, well, you will be hearing this video. You got Darrion Williams, Chance McMillian, JT Toppin, one of the best players in this portal class. The Red Raiders landed him, and he will be donning the scarlet and black next year in year number 2 of Grant McCassin. You got Kevin Overton, Federiko Federiko, a.k.a. Fetty Squared. You've got one of the best passers in college basketball in Elijah Hawkins from the portal as well. Leon Horner and Christian Anderson are your two high school commits as of right now. Kerwin Walton, Devan Cambridge, Eemeli Yalaho return, as well as Jack Francis, who's a walk-on alongside fellow walk-on Jazz Henderson Jr. As it stands right now, the Red Raiders have 2 scholarships remaining. Could they potentially use them? Truthfully, I don't know, but I will say this. I think if they do, it is going to be with a high school player or a project big, whatever that looks like. Maybe a European big that needs to come over for a year. Think Eemeli Yalaho last year, if, well, crap didn't hit the fan in terms of injuries in the front court for the Red Raiders. A guy that you bring in, you like his skill set, you want him to have a year of development, not only on the floor, but in the weight room, and then you see what you have in year number 2. I think that that's kind of where Texas Tech would go, because I don't think they're going to go out and get a guy, well, for example, like Supreme Cook, who actually committed to Oregon. I don't think that's the kind of guy that they're going to go after in the portal as it stands right now. I think they like their front court. I think they like their duo of Federiko Federiko and JT Toppin in terms of the bigs that have proven it at the college level. Then you've got Devan Cambridge looking like he is in really good shape coming off major knee injury. And then, well, you got Eemeli Yalaho, who I'm actually really high on. So for me, it wouldn't shock me at all if Texas Tech doesn't add a player to the 2024-2025 roster. It would not shock me. That being said, if they do, I do think it'll be a project big because of the reasons we just went over. I think that that's kind of where they're at. I think they feel really good about the 4 guys that they have in the front court. You can even throw D5 in there after what he did at the 4 spot last year. But as of right now, I think JT Toppin solved a lot of problems that Texas Tech had in the front court. You think about Federiko Federiko having P4 experience at the college level. Well, I guess it's technically P5 still in college basketball because you lose the 6. Anyway, I digress. You feel good about your front court if you're the Red Raiders, and JT Toppin solved a lot of problems there. Devan Cambridge, you got to remember he's coming back. He's a guy that allows you to play small ball 5 there, and he looks really solid right now in terms of the videos that we've seen from Texas Tech, some of the workout footage that he's released on his own social media. So you feel good about where he is in his recovery process too. So the front court is still probably the biggest need for Texas Tech, but I don't know if they're going to go out and add a guy that can give you, quote unquote, valuable minutes or anything like that. I think it would be a project type big if they did add one. All right, let's look at this Big 12 gauntlet. And truthfully, there's a reason I'm bringing this up. And by the way, it might be the All-State 12 by the time you're listening to this. Who knows? But I wanted to talk about this because, well, we all know the Big 12 is the best college basketball league in America. We know that, right? We also know that via reports from multiple people, I believe John Rothstein was the first one to have this. If not, please call me out in the comments. But the Big 12 is planning on having a 20-game conference schedule starting in 2024-2025 with no bye weeks. 2 games every week for 10 weeks leading into Kansas City. That's nuts. But that's what you have when you have this loaded of a league when it comes to college basketball. I mean, there's not really anybody close, in my opinion. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because Coleman Hawkins, the Illinois transfer, committed to Kansas State. And now, from a Texas Tech standpoint, that really doesn't do much from helping Texas Tech, hurting Texas Tech. I mean, like, you got to face them. Cool kind of deal. But in the end, hey, Texas Tech is going to focus on Texas Tech, right? The reason I'm bringing this up is because Kansas State adding him, me looking at the Big 12, this may be the best that this conference has ever been. And the reason being is you're adding multiple teams that are really good basketball programs, most notably Arizona. Arizona State just landed a 5-star center. Colorado made the tournament last year, and then we don't need to talk about Utah. But there's 7 teams in the top 27 of the portal class in terms of team rankings, according to 247 Sports. 7 Big 12 teams. There's 10 in the top 50. Okay. The Red Raiders come in as the 20th best portal class as of June 14th at the time of this recording. I think this could be the best Big 12 conference we've ever seen. And you think about some of the teams that have the potential to go and make sizable noise in the NCAA tournament on paper. And I want to preface that is on paper, you got to go and handle business on the floor. Everybody knows that. But when you look at what some of these teams have added, and Texas Tech is one of them, this conference is bonkers. I mean, just absolutely bonkers. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with me on this, but I think there's legitimately 8 teams in the Big 12 conference that I could make the case fairly easily that could make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Kansas, Houston, Iowa State, Baylor, Arizona. Okay, that's 5 right there. I think everybody would agree with. I think Texas Tech can do it. I think Kansas State can do it. And then this is probably the one that people are not giving enough credit for in terms of how good they were with the injuries that they had. Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati can make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. It would not shock me at all if any of those 8 teams were playing in the Sweet 16 come, March. It wouldn't shock me at all, okay? Now, again, got to handle business on the floor. But I'm not even mentioning teams like West Virginia, who I think, you finally got some guys in there. You go out and you get a good coach. You solidify that. I think they're going to be good. UCF down there as well. I didn't even mention Colorado. They made the tournament last year. Granted, they lose a lot of guys, but they're well coached. Arizona State, right? The Hurley. You got, I guess the lesser Hurley when it comes to coaching still in college basketball. But they went out and they landed a ton of talent in the portal and the aforementioned 5-star center. There's a lot of talent here in this conference. And, oh, by the way, I didn't even mention TCU, who also made the tournament. Okay? This may be the best we will ever see or have ever seen, the Big 12 conference. Okay? There is absolutely just an abnormal amount of talent spread across this league, and it's going to be absolutely nuts night in and night out because we know anything can happen on the road in the Big 12. You add a team like Arizona. Arizona State's good as well. Colorado. Again, we don't need to talk about the Utes, even though they're trying to make a comeback and get back up there, right? But there are 8 teams that I could see make the second round of the NCAA tournament. I don't know if there's another conference in America that can even remotely come close to that. It's just going to be so much fun to watch, and the Red Raiders are firmly in the mix there when it comes down to it because, again, you went out, you landed the 20th best portal class according to 247 Sports as of June 14th. You went out and landed one of the best bigs in this portal cycle, JT Toppin, one of the best guards in this portal cycle in Elijah Hawkins. You get a Swiss Army knife big on the defensive end in Federiko Federiko, and then a Swiss Army knife type guy as a guard in Kevin Overton, a guy that has a ton of potential as well. Did a remarkable job if you're Grant McCasland and crew, and now you're going to have to go in and maybe add another big, whether that's a freshman or whatever it may be, with one of those 2 remaining scholarships. But, man, this conference is absolutely nuts. It cannot be January soon enough, and here I am talking in mid-June. I'm so excited to watch this Texas Tech men's basketball team, and then even just really overall hoops in general when it comes to the Big 12. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the most interactive and largest group of Texas Tech fans here on YouTube. And the best part about it, it's 100% free. We're giving you daily videos on anything ranging from Texas Tech football, Big 12 overall, and, well, you just watched a Texas Tech men's basketball video. So stay in the know right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel.